The Chinese currency is already the global reserve currency, but you simply don't know about it because it is happening behind the scenes. It's following China's grand strategy. The moment it resurfaces, it will instantly compete with the US dollar or maybe overthrow the dollar as the global reserve currency. This seems like exaggeration if you look at the current reserve currencies. The US is still at almost 57% of the global reserve currency as of 2025, and China's currency represents less than 2% of the global share of reserve currencies. Even Japan, whose economy is a fraction of the Chinese economy, it still represents about 6% of the global reserve currency. The data suggests that China is still far away to overthrow the dollar, so there is nothing to worry about. But what if I told you that China is not trying to replace the dollar in the system that the United States has created? China is playing a completely different game. China is building an alternative financial system entirely because China understands that if it will try to overthrow the dollar as the global reserve currency in the game that the United States dictates the rules, it will never be able to do that because once upon a time Japan has tried to do that and the United States crushed the Japanese economy. So China is playing a completely different game. They're building an entirely independent financial infrastructure that when it resurfaces, it will instantly compete with the US dollar and maybe overthrow the entire system the United States has created over its entire existence. And the first step to do that is because China wants all major commodities to be denominated in yuan. There are 4 major global commodities: oil and gas. Oil and gas is literally used by any nation in the world. Without oil and gas, you're not going to have the modern economy. Iron ore is the main component that is being used in order to produce steel. And steel is literally one of the most important items or commodities that is used to build everything else. How do you think they're building your car? How do you think they're building planes? How do you think they're building buildings? Rare earth minerals are used absolutely in any technology that you can possibly imagine, from the camera that is recording me to this Apple Pencil and every piece of technology that you can possibly imagine. And finally, gold. If all of these major commodities will be priced in yuan, that's when the global economy is going to turn against the US dollar and will start using the yuan. Because when we talk about oil and gas today, we say, what is the price of oil in US dollars? So it's $100 per barrel or $50 per barrel. And the same thing applies to all other major commodities because the United States sets the standard. The world is playing the game that the United States has created, and because the US created the game, the United States dictates the rules. So China wants to change the system by becoming the largest buyers of all of these commodities. Today, China buys literally 50% of all the Middle Eastern oil. China says to Middle East, if I'm buying half of the entire oil that the entire region is producing, then why would we use the US dollar? If Middle East would sell their oil in yuan back in the days, what will Middle East do with all of these yuans that they will acquire after selling all of that oil to China? But if they sell it in US dollars, they can take the dollars and buy fighter jets, F-15s from the US, technology from the US, cars from the US, or anything else. But today, the Chinese economy literally manufactures absolutely everything. And that means that we no longer need the US dollars. We can use the yuans and buy the exact same thing from China at the fraction of the price, especially if you're buying EVs. EVs in China are a lot cheaper. Smartphones in China are a lot cheaper. China buys 80% of the global iron ore. If I'm buying 80% of all the iron ore in the world, then why on earth would I use any other currency? I will be dictating what is going to be the currency that we will use. China controls 80% of the rare earth minerals. The world has simply no choice but to price them in yuans. And China is the world's largest buyer of gold. They literally buy about 1,000 tons per year. This massive purchasing power has allowed China to force the suppliers to price their products in yuan. Now you can trade oil in yuan in the Shanghai Stock Exchange. Just because you are denominating all the major commodities in yuan, it does not mean that suddenly your currency is going to become the global reserve currency. Because for that to happen, you need to have a freely traded currency, and your currency can be used for investment purposes. If I'm a central bank in some other nation and I want to hold a lot of yuans, My yuans cannot simply sit in my central bank because there is a concept called inflation. So the money consistently loses its value. Those yuans must be invested somewhere and they should generate interest. But if China has these capital controls where money cannot move freely, then how am I supposed to invest that money? So this is the strategy that China came out with. After China succeeds in dominating all major commodities in yuan, the second stage would be is that more contracts will be written in yuan. If Thailand wants to buy oil from the Middle East and Middle East is pricing oil in yuan, Middle East will be selling to Thailand their oil in yuan because it's much easier, it's much faster, and there is an entire infrastructure behind it. Just because the commodity is priced in yuan, more and more nations will be forced to start using the yuan in their transactions, even if they won't be holding so much yuans in their central banks. Once they will pile a lot of yuans, the next stage will be, what should we do with these yuans? So they will start looking for ways to invest in these yuans. So there is going to be more demand for the Chinese government bonds. The reason the US has the world's largest national debt is because the rest of the world simply wants to invest in the US debt, because the more the world uses the US dollars, the more they're sitting on US dollars, and the more they need to buy the US national debt so that they keep generating interest on their investment. No one is going to use any currency as a reserve currency if they can keep generating interest. But what makes the Chinese yuan far better than the US dollar is because you can borrow money at a much cheaper rate than the United States. If you want to borrow money in US dollars, you will be paying around 6% in interest rate. But if you're going to borrow money in Chinese yuan, you will pay about 3.8%. And that's a substantial difference. When you are a huge mining firm and you're selling most of your iron ore to China and it's denominated in yuan, and now you need another loan to start mining more of that iron ore, if you're using the Chinese yuan anyways, you would most likely go and borrow money in Chinese yuan, especially you will be paying a much lower interest rate. Once companies start borrowing money in yuan, they will be locked in the system. Now they have to pay interest in yuan, and that means that they're locked into the system for the next 20, 30, 50 years, or maybe forever. If yuan gets used a lot more commonly among the companies, suddenly the central bank of the country will have to start holding a lot of yuans because they do a lot of transactions with China and they need these yuans to settle these transactions. One central bank will start holding so much yuans, and then the second central bank, and over time the reserves in yuans will start growing. And suddenly you will find out that the Chinese yuan is the global reserve currency. But there is simply one problem. China has capital controls. And that means that if I'm a central bank that is holding so much yuans, I can't simply be investing in the Chinese bonds and start generating interest. And if that's not happening, then there is no reason for any country to hold the Chinese yuan as the reserve currency. And that's why the global share of the Chinese currency as the global reserve currency is less than 2%, and the Japanese yen is almost 6%. Even though that Japan's economy is a fraction of the Chinese economy, if China wants to compete with the United States for the global reserve currency status, why wouldn't China simply open their capital controls? You see, China has a very serious problem. Unlike many other nations, including the United States, China has two different currencies. One currency that is for internal and domestic market that is deeply controlled, and the second currency that is for international markets. They're basically one currency under two systems, but because they're regulated so differently, we can even call them that they're like two entirely separate currencies. The currency that is inside China, that is the most heavily used yuan. There are strict regulations to control this currency. The government ensures that nobody can actually speculate on this currency. That offers stability for the domestic Chinese market. Because there are so much regulations, an average Chinese person can easily just take his money and get it out of the country. They can't just pay for stuff outside China. They can't just take that money and invest it somewhere. And if you are an international investor, you can't just invest inside China because now you have to take your external Chinese currency, convert it to internal Chinese currency, and then you can invest this money inside China. But once you have actually made your money, imagine you want to take that money out of China. You can't easily do that because you have to take that money, turn it into an external offshore Chinese currency, and then you will have it. And there are strict regulations on how much of the internal Chinese currency you can turn into external Chinese currency. So this idea alone does not let any investor to invest in China. At first, it seems like a really dumb idea from the Chinese government, but this is really smart because China does not want anybody to speculate in their currency. Because if the currency is freely traded in the market, suddenly other nations can attack your currency. Speculators can short your currency and they will crush the value of your currency. But China is an export-driven economy, so they want to have full control over their currency. If the Chinese yuan will strengthen, that will slow down their exports, so the Chinese government can weaken the currency. So because it's so heavily controlled, it is literally entirely under the control of the Chinese government. So most of the Chinese currency is inside the country, and there is very little offshore Chinese currency. And that means that there are very few derivatives, which means that you cannot hedge your contracts. Imagine there is a Middle Eastern oil that wants to sell oil to a Chinese company. You have to extract the oil from the ground, you have to refine it, and then you have to put it on a ship, and then the ship have to get to China. That could take, let's say, up to 3 months. And the price of this oil, let's say 10,000 yuans, or about $1,500. But what if in 3 months from now, the Chinese yuan is going to weaken and I will get a lot less US dollars? By the time oil is going to reach the Chinese shore and I will be paid 10,000 yuans, these 10,000 yuans can only worth $500. So I'm not making any money. In fact, I'm losing on this transaction. So I want to make sure that I will be paid the exact same 10,000 yuans that are worth as much as $1,500 to ensure that the oil that I sold is actually profitable and I'm making money on this transaction. So I would go to a market maker, which is usually a huge fund, and I will buy a future, a contract that hedges the value of the yuans to the US dollars. So when the contract is fulfilled, I will still get my $1,500 anyways. A market maker would make that possible because it's a huge bank and it serves the entire world. So they will basically match the buyers with the sellers all across the globe. But because the pool of the Chinese offshore currency is so small, market makers are not able to do that, which is why in the international transactions, companies and businesses are still not using the yuan in their global transactions simply because they cannot hedge their transactions. They cannot hedge their currencies. And if you can hedge your currency, there is no way that you will be taking that risk because there is a best alternative, which is called the US dollar or the euro, which are freely traded in the market, and you can easily hedge your transactions with the euro or the US dollar, which is why most of the global transactions are still taking place in the US dollar or euro, even though that China has built an alternative financial system to the US dollar. And that's why experts say that China will never be able to replace the dollar as the global reserve currency. But here is the real plan that nobody's talking about. China is playing the long game, so they're gradually building the system. The first phase of this plan was that we want everything to be priced in yuan first. Phase number 2, we have to create a natural demand for the Chinese bonds. The Chinese government has built an umbrage system. It allows other central banks to park their yuans in China and generate interest bypassing these entire capital controls that are placed by the Chinese government. In fact, the Chinese government guarantees you the exchange rate, so you don't even have to hedge them. And that gives assurance to central banks of other nations to hold a lot of yuans. So this might not instantly change the entire system in the market, but at least you will start having central banks across the globe to hold so many of yuans. In fact, China is holding other countries' currencies in exchange that these central banks across the globe will start holding the yuan. Once there is so much demand by central banks across the globe for the Chinese bonds, suddenly China can move into phase 3 where they will start easing the capital outflows of the country. So they will start letting more banks to trade internationally. And once China realizes that there is enough demand for the Chinese bonds all across the globe, there is enough demand for the Chinese currency all across the globe, then China will move into phase 3 and they will open their entire markets because they know for a fact that suddenly if they lift the capital controls, the Chinese people will not run away from China. They won't take all of these yuans and just park it in the US market, because they can take that money and park it in the Chinese yuan. It doesn't mean that everybody in China will be investing in Chinese yuan, but by lifting the capital controls at that particular moment, China basically ensures that its currency is not going to crash, and they know for a fact that there is enough strong demand internationally for their currency, and that will encourage the Chinese investors to invest in Chinese bonds instead of American bonds, because the Chinese bonds will be viewed as safe as the American bonds. So while nobody is still using the yuan as the global reserve currency, because China is still building the entire infrastructure for a completely different game. When China will move to phase 4, that's when the share of the Chinese yuan as the global reserve currency will move from less than 2% instantly to 20%, 30%, or maybe even 50% in the long run. The yuan becoming the global reserve currency isn't something that will happen in 100 years from now. It is happening behind our scenes. And when it does, building wealth is going to become a lot more difficult, because the US dollar is no longer going to be the only global reserve currency. In fact, this might be your last chance to become rich and make money before it becomes very expensive or maybe even impossible.